Hello everybody. I just came back from New York where I attended part of the celebrations around the finalization of the Sustainable Development Goals. And it was quite an event. I wanted to quickly share some of the impressions that I had. In New York, I think we created a sort of a bubble. And everybody who was within that bubble was having a celebration about this great event of Sustainable Development Goals. And it was an enormous commitment of everybody who spoke to making the world a better place and to really make a change, to utilize the Sustainable Development Goals as the moment where the world makes a commitment to do things very differently. It was amazing when you heard somebody say, look, you have the Magna Charta, which was a document that set the new course of democracy. You had the United States Constitution that changed the way that colonies were evolving themselves. You had the Charter of the United Nations that was established after the Second World War. And now we have the Sustainable Development Goals that are being created just before the world is on an irreversible path. We're still talking here about possibilities of climate scenarios of 4 or 5%, sea level rise of 4 or 5 meters, and God knows what other things people are talking about. But there was a conviction that if we would collectively take action now, something can really change. You had the private sector putting together a coalition of nearly 1,000 companies asking for a realistic price to be put on carbon, so that carbon trading could resume, so that they actually would be able to manage their carbon emissions in a way that companies do. You had government leaders speaking out in favor of collective action of all stakeholders. And of course, we managed amongst that to really position volunteering. We had volunteering in one specific event around the Millennium Campaign, where we celebrated the work of volunteers in Peru and in Uzbekistan in getting the message out on Sustainable Development Goals, or in SDGs for that time, but also for taking action to reach thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in order to change lives, to change options, to change opportunities. We also were at the Private Sector Forum, and there was quite a little bit of maneuvering involved in order to be there, in order to really work with presidents and business leaders about corporate commitment to Sustainable Development Goals. And I left very much with the impression that something significant is going to happen, because the corporate sector are not just talking about corporate philanthropy and corporate volunteering. No, they're talking about changing their business models in order to be more sustainable companies. We have governments changing, we have civil society adjusting, and we have corporations, big corporations, moneyed corporations, changing their opinion. It was a very hopeful moment to be there. It was an incredible atmosphere. And that for the 70-year anniversary of the United Nations, that actually we seem to be ignoring here a little bit in Bonn. Really, I wanted to share that with you, because we need to celebrate also, maybe celebrate a new beginning for everybody in the world.